Slips over as he clears it downfield, hence the cheers from the Manchester City supporters. 1-0 Chelsea lead. Cucurella just rolling it back to his goalkeeper. Sanchez puts his left foot through it and it comes off the head of Matheus Nunes and out of play for a throw into Chelsea near the halfway line. Michael Brown.
It's interesting that he decides to give him that yellow card. Why doesn't he just say, come on, get on with it? You get a warning these days, sometimes you do, but when there's that much pressure from the supporters and press Chelsea.
No, they don't. Sanchez side, and they bring it forward. Up the right flank with Chalobah, who gives it to Madueke, the goal scorer. Madueke up against Gvardiol in the other penalty area. Madueke does well, gets a low ball into the near post. That's cleared, deflected away, and then Okay, Gundogan is being put under severe pressure. He finds Gvardiol. Excellent footwork from Gvardiol as the challenges came in on him and was able to play the ball into the back line.
What about when Madueke gets the ball? He looks to cross it, that last second flick. He'd have you spinning, wouldn't he? He'd have me spinning anyway, that's for certain. Josko Gvardiol, good recovery.
Yeah, he's a real talent, Madueke. Did well for England, one of the debutants under Lee Carsley in the autumn. I saw him score that hat-trick at Molineux when Cole Palmer set all of the goals up, didn't he, that day for Madueke? And already this season, Palmer has created 17 chances for Madueke in the Premier League this season. And that goal, the one that he scored here today, something of a present, that was his 8th of the season in all competitions, 7 of them in the Premier League. So Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1, 5 Live Sport, Saturday afternoon. Here's one for Foden to chase, but the offside flag is up, and Pep Guardiola down on the side of the pitch shrugs his shoulders.
Yeah, he's under a lot of scrutiny, isn't he? So many questions have gone his way, and what he says and what he does, how does he react, what does he do different in his side? But they've conceded far too many goals. He's talked this week about possession, not necessarily just work ethic. As we've seen, you've got to be tighter, got to be better. And this is the problem.
Colwill, long pass. Ederson's come a long way out of the penalty area, probably 10 yards and more. Headed it away. Headed back forward by Fernandez. Palmer now. Palmer calmly gives it to Madueke, runs his foot over the ball. He's up against Gvardiol, still Madueke, and then Marmoush comes in with a challenge. Palmer now cuts in field, left foot shot deflected, but deflected straight at the goalkeeper, who was able to catch it. Ederson right in front of his face.
Yeah, Madueke, good feet again, but then once Cole Palmer gets it a long way away, he shifts it quickly. You can't touch him. Kovacic goes to get tight, and that deflection, Ederson's thinking, where's it going to go? Luckily, again, another mistake. Too many from City.
City, that's a pass across the edge of the 6-yard box that Jackson was after, but Ederson was able to clear. Matheus Nunes, 50-50. Cucurella plays it through to Jackson. No flag yet. Jackson's shot is saved by Ederson, and there's the flag. I think Jackson knew. I think he knew that he was offside.
I think everyone in the stadium felt like it was going to be a flag that was coming out our way, but I think it saved his blushes. He had a good chance there to put it in the back of the net. You've got to be more clinical just in case.
The TV cameras, I noticed, did you see on our screen a moment or two ago, picked out the director's box where the Manchester City chairman, Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, is sitting next to Gianni Infantino. The FIFA president is here, and of course these teams, Chelsea and Manchester City, will be involved, won't they, in his baby, the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States at the end of the season. The competition that I'm not sure how many people actually want, as Kovacic plays it through to the edge of the penalty area, and Chalobah back returning from his loan at Crystal Palace, puts it out of play on the halfway line. Busy week for Gianni Infantino. On Monday he was at the inauguration of the US president.
Was he?
He was at Donald Trump's inauguration on Monday, and now here he gets himself in some places.
Do you know what?
He's a bit like someone else I could mention.
What, Deno?
Well,
do you know what? I've just seen that picture, and then I thought, well, if I'd have seen a particular picture, I thought you, Gary Flintoff, the producer, and you next to each other, if they do that, that's a powerhouse of BBC, isn't it?
Well, I think there's more power in that director's box by the XG of about 25. Here's Kovacic.
Plus that.
Yes. Kovacic playing it across to Gundogan. Well, it's been entertaining so far, first half hour. The way the match started, remarkable really. An awful start for the debutant Kuzanov, and now Kovacic is bundled over by Sado. That's going to be a free kick. I think referee Brooks is just going to talk to the back post, where Foden, who's really stretching for that, got his head to it, but really it just sort of hit his head and ballooned away over the top of the crossbar. It is now Exeter 5, Saracens 8 in the Sports Extra commentary match, and also in the United Rugby Championship. Leinster 15, Stormers 7, and Cardiff 5, Sharks 21 are latest scores. Michael.
Yeah, they're really taking the time, aren't they, on the set pieces. It's one of those where you roll it to your goalkeeper first, but Bernardo's sat waiting to pounce wherever he can, and good play.
Jackson gets the ball down on the halfway line and then sets off on a little run, and having got away from Foden pushed him over, just a hand in the back. Jackson went sprawling. Cucurella's got something to say for himself. And do you remember in the match at Stamford Bridge, Michael? I'm sure you do, the way that Haaland was able to get the better of Cucurella. Cucurella having sung the song about Haaland after Spain won the Euros, which probably wasn't the wisest choice of action.
We do see a few things like that from players, and it's still happening, whether it's on social media, whether it's on the pitch. Never surprises you. No,
it doesn't. As Cucurella now goes in for a challenge and does well, comes out with it against Mateus Nunes. Couldn't find the pass to Sancho, and then Kuzanov, who's on the yellow card, slid in for the challenge, but actually the offside flag was up, and Pep Guardiola comes out of his coaching area clapping his hands.
Yeah, but you know what he does? It's one of them exaggerated ones to go to him and say, how good you were there, brilliant, well done, just trying to give him a little lift. It was almost too much, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's thick-set, isn't he? Abdou Kodia Kuzanov, strong young man. He actually played only 31 times for Lens, you know, so he's very, very early stage of his career. Haaland laying it off to Marmoush, who passes it to Mateus Nunes, who gives it back to the edge of the area to Kovacic. That shot's blocked, back to Haaland, that's blocked, and then Bernardo Silva. No, it's Gundogan, shot saved, Marmoush is in to score on his debut, but no, he doesn't, because the offside flag is up again against Marmoush for the third time in the match, but this time he's denied a goal.
I've never seen a flag go up so slow. Do you know, you're looking along and going, is it not? This could be tight, because he didn't really want to put his flag up.
We're just seeing it again, and he was in an offside position.
Yeah, but it was really late. But as it comes across, again, he was quick, he was alert, goalkeeper. Sanchez very, very lucky. Ilkay Gundogan sweeps that sort of effort into the far post, but he spills it, doesn't he? Mamouche very quick.
Yeah, there's the confirmation, and referee Brooks says to Chelsea, right, take the free kick for offside. It remains Manchester City 0, Chelsea 1. This is 5 Live from the BBC. If you're on the move, you can listen to all of live BBC radio via BBC Sounds if you download the app, which is absolutely free. And now Pep Guardiola is
going crazy about a decision. Maybe Josko Vardiol just pushing the fourth there back, isn't it? Pushing him in the chest, so to say, get back in there almost.
Yeah, and Cucurella just getting some encouragement from Maresca, and the ball is back with Robert Sanchez, the Chelsea goalkeeper. Long pass from him. Gvardiol heads it, but he heads it straight to Cole Palmer, who took a heavy touch, and that meant Gvardiol was able to come in, win the ball. Excellent again from Gvardiol, who danced in and and won it ahead of Reece James, and City play the ball back to Huzanov again. And then Akanji carries it forward, but is quickly closed down, so City go back into their own half and start again. Still 1-0 down here.
Yeah, if you look at Chelsea, there's very, very narrow. They wait, they go back, jump in the shape. As soon as a short pass, they jump out and press.
There's a pass from Akanji. This is from Marmoush, Manchester City's new number 7 to chase. James challenges him down in the full-back area. Final touch off the Manchester City man and out for a throw-in, which is given Chelsea's way. Thought he had a case for a free kick there, but referee Brooks isn't interested, and it's a throw-in to Chelsea in their own right-back area. Pep Guardiola down in front of us clasps his hands behind his back and paces from side to side as the ball is deflected out for another throw-in near the halfway line. So 1-0 it is after Abdou Qadir Kuzanov's nightmare opening minutes as a Manchester City player. You talked about terrible starts for clubs, and I was thinking back to, do you remember Nemanja Vidic and Patrice Evra when they made their debut for Manchester United? I'm trying to think, what was the match there? Were they beaten by Liverpool? Beaten quite heavily by Liverpool? Just trying to remember that one. And of course Jonathan Woodgate, do you remember Jonathan Woodgate's debut for Real Madrid when he scored an own goal and was sent off? As Gundogan now gets his head down. Just plays the ball to Gvardiol over on the left-hand side. Kovacic, right-footed, cross-field, the ball bounces up and is chested down by Mateus Nunes. Cucurella in front of him, hair flying all over the place as they go back to Huzanov. Little pass to Kovacic in the centre circle. Now Bernardo Silva. We've got less than 10 minutes to go to half-time. We'll have more reaction, as I say. You've already missed David Moyes, although I suppose we might hear more from him later. Lines will be open as well at half-time for Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 6:06. So we'll let you know when the lines are open. And here's Gundogan now carrying the ball towards the edge of the penalty area, flick from Foden, and then Gundogan again back to Akanji. Manchester City trailing at home again. Remember, they went 52 home matches in all competitions unbeaten before that collapse, that extraordinary game against Tottenham. As City attack again with Foden, but Chalobah's going to try and see it over the white line and behind. And the Chelsea fans who are just over the hoardings there give him a huge ovation for being able to do just that, and it's a goal kick for Chelsea. But since that defeat, of course, they have since lost the Manchester derby here as well, and now it's a goal kick that Chelsea again are testing the referee's patience, and it's Colwell who's already been yellow carded. And then Sanchez, when he cleared it, Cucurella couldn't keep it in.
What does he do now, though? What does the referee do now when the same thing's happening? He's booked the player.
Showing a second yellow. I think that is allowed.
He is allowed. But what do you think would happen there?
There won't be one. No. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be, should they?
That would be quite a call, wouldn't it?
I think you go over, don't you, and say, that's it. You literally walk across and say, that is going to be it now.
If you do it again.
Yeah. I will have to do it.
Sent off.
Yeah, rather than just to do it.
Yeah. 1-0 Chelsea lead, and Mateus Nunes infield towards Phil Foden. Phil Foden, who's shown signs certainly in recent matches of coming back to something more like his true form, having scored in the last 3 Premier League matches, scored 2 in each of the last 2. Kovacic forward to the edge of the box, nicely chested down by Gvardiol! Oh, who shoots wide? Defenders either side of him. It was a bobbly kind of shot as he burst through, and it just bounced wide of the foot of the post.
He's so good in those positions, you know. He is quite calm. He gets into the positions off that far side and drifts across. It's a good finish, you know. It's difficult to try and do that. Takes it with his thigh, then the outside of that left foot. Very, very unlucky as it just edges past that far post. But what a run, what a take.
And now we're seeing the goal kick for Chelsea again, which they do improve. They do take that one more quickly than the previous 2 or 3. So I think maybe the point has been made. Less than 5 minutes of the first half to go. Entertaining stuff again from Manchester City, but facing here the prospect, and there's a long way to go, but facing the prospect of a third home defeat in the Premier League this season, despite the reinforcements arriving. Bernardo Silva and Kovacic in possession, in between two of the central defenders actually, Akanji and Huzanov, and then Cole Palmer might have scored a second for Chelsea himself, but unselfishly, perhaps wrongly, tried to give it to Jackson. Mateus Nunes then back to Huzanov again, and then Gundogan, and still City with it deep inside their own half. Kevin De Bruyne on the substitutes bench. I have to say I'm not entirely unsurprised by that. I thought he was excellent at Portman Road. Ball played over the top for Mateus Nunes to chase. Cucurella's in there. Mateus Nunes. Look, Guardiola's onto it. And Manchester City are level. And Chelsea's defenders will look at one another here. That was not well defended by Enzo Maresca's side. Just the ball over the top for Mateus Nunes, and Cucurella chasing. I think he got a foot to it himself. Sanchez made the save, but the ball bounced to Gvardiol, and Gvardiol, who's already had two good chances in the match, wasn't going to miss this one. It was an open goal, and it's Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1, and the champions are level before half-time.
Yeah, Madueke stays inside, and that allows that high line. No flexibility. Cucurella tries to recover, and it almost is like a clash in between him and Sanchez. Guardiol carries on with that run. A simple tap-in for him, but you could see something that they've worked on. We've just seen 2 minutes before, Josko Vardy.
With half-time.
Yeah, Madueke stays inside, and that allows that high line. As Guardiol carries on with that run. A simple tap-in for him, but you could see something that they've worked on. We've just seen 2 minutes before, Josko Vardy with that diagonal one. Comes inside, chests it, puts it wide. Nunes on the opposite. Good arc run, similar again with his chest. But it was that challenge off Cucurella, gets in the way, and then finally City, the work on the training ground comes through and they get the rewards.
So 1-1 it is just before half-time, and big relief for Manchester City and everyone here in Sky Blue at the Etihad Stadium. And I don't know what's happened to the match ball. The City fans have found their voice. It was very quiet for a long time during the first half, but Pep Guardiola just turns to the ball boy to our left down here and says, come on, let's have the ball. And eventually it's rolled back onto the pitch, and referee Brooks says to Cole Palmer, right, restart the match, which he does. And there are now 2 minutes of the first 45 to play. We'll have more reaction to come at half-time to the earlier matches, many of them dramatic, as Manchester City have a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area. And Pep Guardiola is now involved in a discussion with the fourth official, Lewis Smith, and it's not entirely clear what that's about either.
A discussion was a mild choice of words. I think it was a touch stronger. One-way traffic. Yeah. He said, I really need this to happen next. But the game's open now. There's the long direct one. We haven't really seen Haaland get away.
Haaland winning the ball in the air against Colwill, but back from Chalobah to goalkeeper Sanchez, who's able to clear it away. It's a slightly strange one, isn't it? Chalobah being allowed to go to Crystal Palace and then playing well for them in the first half of the season, and then coming back to Chelsea, straight in the team, started both matches. Here's Foden being challenged by Enzo Fernandez. Of course, Fofana is out probably for the rest of the season, but they're not short on central defenders, are they? Adrabioyo's on the bench. Well, Badiashile as well.
Linked with more wide players.
Yeah. As Fernandez through the middle for Palmer. Palmer trying to take on Huzanov, but there was cover there from Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva again just inside his own box, left-footed and along the way towards the halfway line, where Chalobah might well lose out to Marmoush, but the referee's blown his whistle. said that there was some sort of infringement by Marmoush, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
Yeah, I just think it's gone out of play, hasn't it, down that far side. But you're just looking again there, Bernardo Silva. As soon as Cole Palmer gets it, he gets in and around him. He knows he can produce little things, that little flick inside. But here he is now, so talented, and then he goes and does that and puts the ball out.
2 minutes of added time at the end of this eventful first half. Remarkable start to the match, with Pep Guardiola bringing in Marmoush and Huzanov for their debuts, starting the match, and Huzanov giving away the opening goal in the 3rd minute, then being booked, looking really shaky. Yes, I think anyone would after a start like that, but he has settled into the game, and here now in possession, just passing the ball away much more confidently. It's out of play for a throw to Chelsea.
Yeah, he's done all right. He tried to play there as expected. I mean, if you can't play, you'd be surprised if City did sign you. So he obviously comfortable on the ball. We obviously haven't seen that in that first minute. That headed clearance he attempts, and the goal, and then a yellow card from a poor pass. Sanchez
ball over the top for Jackson to chase, but Mateus Nunes is able to get there first, although the ball's still in play down by the corner flag, and Jackson just gets a toe into it. It's out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City near their own corner flag.
It's amazing, isn't it? When Nunes came in, I felt like, oh, he's one of those that can glide with the ball, he can run through the middle, he can do something different. He didn't feature, then he did really well on that left-hand side for a period of time, and then he was out again. Now to come in this role, right wing back, right back out of possession is amazing now that he's getting a run. In the middle of the week at PSG was the one I wasn't sure he would play. Enrico Lewis started all the games early on.
Yeah, I thought he was impressive at Portman Road last Sunday afternoon, but less so against Paris Saint-Germain.
Yeah, well, we're both there. It's a different test, isn't it? It was so totally comfortable different for them.
Yeah. No, I have to say I was suckered in by the performance against Ipswich, and I thought they did play really well.
Well, then to go 2 up as well in the middle of the week, you go, here we go, they're back. Yeah. That's it.
But then a little fortunate to go 2-0 up. Nevertheless, they did. Manchester City at their best. That's it, isn't it? Here's Enzo Fernandez playing the ball to the right-hand side. Here's Madueke. Madueke into the box on his left foot. Shoots. Oh, I think that was deflected. It was on the way over the top, but nevertheless, the half-time whistle goes. There will not be a corner, and 1-1 it is at the break. And I think probably, all in all, Pep Guardiola and Manchester City will take that after the start they made to the game. 1-0 down to Madueke's goal. That was a present really from the new signing Huzanov, but Josko Gvardiol scoring late in the half from a direct move, really, a ball over the top.
Yeah, I think he would take that. Disastrous start from the young man coming in on his debut, and then with a yellow card afterwards, Palmer getting in a second opportunity. I was wondering if it was going to be one of those days, but City showed resilience. They started to break Chelsea down, move them around in that high line. They know that the press was there. Firstly, Guardiola broke it, went wide, and then Nunes, and then they finally got that equaliser. They both created lots of opportunities. I think it's been a really good first half of football.
Yeah, the champions are in another contest, another real test. And at half-time here at the Etihad, the score, Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1.
So many stories and talking points from the day's Premier League football back at the Etihad for the second half. Earlier, Bournemouth 5, Nottingham Forest 0, Brighton 0, Everton 1, Liverpool 4, Ipswich 1, Southampton 1, Newcastle 3, Wolves 0, Arsenal 1. Both sides reduced to 10 in that game. Arsenal in the first half, and it is a red card that you will want to see on tonight's Match of the Day, 10:30 on BBC One. Reaction to those games to come during half-time. First of all, 19 minutes past 6. Here's the latest BBC News with Stuart Clarkson.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Mark, thank you. Israel has released 200 Palestinian prisoners from jail in the second exchange of the Gaza ceasefire deal this morning. 4 female Israeli soldiers were freed after being taken hostage by Hamas in October 2023. West Midlands police say a 14-year-old boy has been charged with murdering a 12-year-old in the Hall Green area of Birmingham. Leo Ross was stabbed in a park on Tuesday. The 14-year-old, who can't be named, has also been charged with a number of assaults. He's due in court on Monday. Restrictions on keeping birds have been extended to cover all of England and Scotland because of an increase in the number of avian flu cases. Even stricter measures requiring birds to be housed will also be extended to cover North Yorkshire and Shropshire. And the Met Office says Storm Eowyn was probably the strongest to hit the UK in at least 10 years. Tens of thousands of homes are still without power after wind gusts exceeded 100 miles an hour. Transport has also been disrupted in some areas again today.
The gladiator will be unleashed.
Bigger.
Brand. Gladiators look ready.
And tougher than ever.
She hits hard. This game isn't easy. Let's go! Bring on the next contender!
She was always going down.
The gladiators will do anything to win.
Most terrifying.
Gladiators! Gladiators Series 2. Back tougher. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports.
With Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Manchester City won, Chelsea won after an entertaining first half at the Etihad. Second half on the way here on 5 Live before 6:06 with Chris and Robbie. Let's bring you some reaction to the day's Premier League action. Starting at Molineux, Miles Lewis-Skelly sent off in the first half for Arsenal for a trip that was deemed foul play. But despite being reduced to 10, Arsenal beat them 1-0. Their goal came actually after Wolves had a man sent off. It was scored by Ricardo Calafiore. Here he is.
Ricardo, that's the kind of result, if you want to be in the title race, you have to grind out.
Yeah, you say it right, and for sure we're so happy for this huge and important win, and tough as well because we were one man down, but at the end we fought a lot and we deserved the win.
Obviously, you don't want to go down to 10 men, but the response after you did, I thought, was exceptional. What was the message? What was the tactics?
Yeah, as you said, we don't have so much time to think about, oh, it was red card, it was not. But at the end, it's how you react, and we reacted so good. And of course, what we said in the halftime was not to put ourselves in a defensive mood, but more to try to attack and score and win the game, and we did.
So you weren't looking at it like we need to try and keep goals out. You were like, we're going to attack and still play to win.
Yeah, like if we were still with 11 men on the pitch.
And you've scored 2 goals now for Arsenal, 1 at Man City and then 1 here today. So you pop up with some important ones.
Yeah, I like to score important ones, but I have still a lot to improve. I want to stay available till the end of the season. I help with the team.
There's been a lot of talk about Arsenal needing to bring in some forwards, but with that kind of finish, maybe they don't need to.
Maybe, no, I don't know. For sure, they know what they do, what they have to do, but I'm trying to help the team, as I said before.
Just talk me through that finish, though, because it was some strike.
No, to be honest, if you see, I didn't score a lot of goals, but if you see my previous one, I always score like without controlling the ball, and normally they are pretty difficult, so I don't know, I have to improve the more easier one, you know?
Can I just say as well, was there a sense of being spurred on by that red card that you didn't think it was fair, and sometimes you can use that and latch onto it and use it as spirit?
Yeah, I think, as you said, we use it to put ourselves in, not in trouble, but to give us more energy, more purpose, and then we did, and we scored.
João Gomes, the player sent off for Wolves. Here's his boss, Vitor Pereira.
Well, to be honest, I'm very happy again with my team because we play again in our way. We try to play our game. We create chance. We defended very well the set plays. We were compact almost the time, almost the game. And in the end, you know, for what the frustration is the result. And the yellow card to João Gomes. But you know, João Gomes is a fantastic player, a team player. He said to me, I'm balanced, but it's football. And 1 second, I got the yellow card, and I think was the moment of the game because before that we had two clear situations to score.
Can you accept that from him as just purely a mistake, or frankly, with how important he is to the team and how the game turned, does he need to be better?
Oh, well, every time we learn lessons with life. In football is the same. Of course, he wants to help the team every time. His football in the moment is difficult to control. I asked him, even during the second half, I asked him to keep calm, don't take risks. But in the end, it was football.
We heard from Bournemouth captain Lewis Cook during Sports Report after their 5-0 win over Nottingham Forest. The thoughts of the beaten side now. Here's Nuno Espirito Santo with Alistair Bruce-Ball.
Was there tiredness in the performance today, do you think? I've heard other managers talking about this recently. Well, do you feel the players were tired today? Could that be a reason at all?
I cannot answer that. Look, what I can ensure to you is that everybody was ready to go in the beginning of the game. As the game goes by, maybe heavy legs, I don't know, I have to look better at the game, but that's no excuse.
And when you've had a season as good as this one, a defeat like this, I imagine, won't rock the confidence too much because these things can happen.
No, it shakes the confidence, shakes everything, changes everything, changes the mood, changes the atmosphere. So that's why I tell you, we have to regroup again, analyze, and challenge ourselves to get a better answer at the City Ground against Brighton.
Okay, and are you still able to enjoy your birthday tonight and celebrate?
Look, football is football. It's part of our lives. Not going to be the happiest day, of course, because a result like that is always, but it's still my birthday.
Alistair Bruce-Ball talking to Nuno Espirito Santo. There were 2 for Cody Gakpo as Liverpool beat Ipswich 4-1. Here he is with Sarah Mulkerrand.
Well, Cody, was that as fun as it looked?
Yeah, I think we played a good game, very controlled, scored good goals, and unfortunately conceded one, but overall I think it's a good performance.
And you were able to score 2 as well. Talk us through them.
Yeah, I think the first one, very good attack from the right side, good effort from Dom, and I think the keeper saved it pretty good, and then it just fell from my feet, and yeah, very happy with that kind of goals. And the second one, I think, fantastic ball from Trent, and yeah, good header, and so yeah, that was the second one.
And you're in some good goal-scoring form here at Anfield in recent matches. What do you put that down to?
Just love scoring here at home. No, I think, yeah, especially at home, we try to put a lot of pressure away as well. And lucky for me that I come in those positions and get the goals. So yeah, very happy. Hopefully it can continue for a long time.
There were 2 for Cody Gakpo there, 2 for Alexander Isak this afternoon as well, as Newcastle came from behind to beat Southampton 3-1. Everton have opened up a 7-point gap on the bottom 4 as they won 1-0 at Brighton. We heard from David Moyes on Sports Report as well. Plenty to talk about with Chris and Robbie.
Yep, well, want to hear from Ali Bruce-Ball first and foremost, Mark, after that ridiculous question to Nuno. Is he going to enjoy his birthday after his team got beaten 5-0? I very much doubt it, Ali. I can answer that for you. But want to hear from Arsenal fans. Huge win for Arsenal today. A lot of controversy. I heard 5 Live all afternoon, Mark, and a lot of controversy over the sending off. And just looking at social media, I think Arsenal fans, they feel they get a harder time than most from referees, or have had a harder time than most. So Arsenal fans want to hear from them. Vitor Pereira talking about the Wolves. What he described, he was happy with Wolves. Are Wolves fans happy with where they're sitting at this moment in time? I know he's just in the door, but I wouldn't be happy after being defeated if I was. Then Bournemouth fans, I mean, they play Liverpool next week, don't they? I mean, Liverpool
3 o'clock next Saturday afternoon, 5-5.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. No, another brilliant result for Bournemouth. Big win for Newcastle. And I want to hear from Derby County fans. I think they're getting a little bit frustrated with their manager, Paul Warne. Canaries down the Swans, Mark 5. Josh Sargent back. Norwich City fans, let's hear from you. And Tony Mowbray, I think his first home game for West Brom. And they won 5, came out 5-1 winners today. So I want to hear from West Brom fans. Can you get promotion? Can you certainly get in those playoff positions?
And we can hear from Tony Mowbray now.
I felt it for maybe a month before I had my my scan that told me that the diagnosis, everything was clear. I could feel my body was strong again. I'd been starting to go to the gym and I could do weights and abdominal exercise and had no discomfort. Your body tells you, and I felt good. I can feel it just talking. Whereas if I go back however many months, 3 months, 6 months, it was really hard to talk because my body was empty of fluid. I was totally dehydrated. My throat had swollen up. I was very, I couldn't talk really. It's amazing to be here today to doing what I love to do really. And when you have days like today, you've got to cherish them, to be honest, and because there's enough hard days in football when you don't get what you deserve and you still have to answer the questions and yet you know you should have got more, and yet bottom line, there's the results you didn't get. That's what happens in football. So we'll enjoy today. Hopefully I'll enjoy my drive back home. I'll listen to Man City and Chelsea. Yeah, and I'll be home with my family in the next 2 or 3 hours.
And you'll hear this interview at half-time?
Yes, thank you very much. Well, I'll look forward to that.
Did you really lose 4.5 stone?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
4.5 stone.
Off your earlobes?
Well, I probably needed to lose a stone or two. My wife would tell you, but eating too much chocolate and too many Revels, probably. I remember catching an image of me walking down the corridors in the hospital as the nurses, the physios trying to get you on your feet and keep you moving. I remember catching the image of me and thinking I didn't recognise myself. I was like so gaunt and almost grey.
Tony Mowbray with Pat Murphy, and it is lovely to have him back in football. Busy day of racing at Cheltenham this afternoon, including Constitution Hill winning the Unibet hurdle. John Hunt was watching.
Well, all the races at Cheltenham today were important, but it was great to see Constitution Hill, who'll surely grab the headlines, not because he beat 4 inferior rivals pointless this afternoon. He won by 3 lengths, but it was the ease with which he did it. A dramatic last flight blunder as well set pulses racing here, but he's such a great horse, and Nicky Henderson was both relieved and emotional afterwards, to be honest with you. He was asked afterwards why he chose to come here and run after his excellent win at Christmas. Ordinarily, he would have gone straight to the Cheltenham Festival.
He just came out of Kempton so much better and quicker than we ever thought he would. My first reaction after Kempton was that, we don't need to go through that all again until March. But a week later, it was perfectly obvious that he was just full of it. No, he's just been brilliant all the way through. Never, it's just nearly been too straightforward, to be honest with you. But we're here now, and we've got 4 or 5 weeks to play with, and apparently I've got to keep working him.
That was the roundup from Cheltenham. Just in the cricket today, both England's men and women involved in T20 action. Both of them lost. England by the men by 2 wickets to India, so they are 2-0 up in the T20 series there. And the women by 72 runs after being bowled out for just 90 in the third T20 in Adelaide. And in the women's Ashes, there is now just the day-night test.
And Chelsea, as they started as well, with Sanchez in goal, James, Chalobah, Colwell and Cucurella, Caicedo and Fernandez, Madueke, Palmer, Sancho and Jackson. And former Premier League midfielder Michael Brown sitting next to me. I discovered at half-time it's Nuno Espirito Santo's birthday today as well, Michael, just like you. I think is he the same age as you, or is he slightly older?
I'm sure he's not the same age, John.
What about the second half then?
I think it's set up nicely, isn't it? It was a wonderful start. Yes, the downfall of somebody, but it did entertain. Now City come out, move it around, try and have that control. Pep demands that from his side. He'll want to have that more than he did in the first half, but we want to see entertainment. We want to see end-to-end. Chelsea slowing it down at times. A high line was slightly dangerous. They've gone with it as well, though. They're going to stick with that sort of 1v1. I think City can use that with Edison into Haaland.
Manchester City playing it forward. Here's Foden on the right-hand side. City, who surrendered the 2-goal lead in the Parc des Princes on Wednesday night, and Bernardo Silva gets that all wrong after Foden played it back to him, just ballooned it forward and through for a goal kick. In the Premier League, though, Manchester City unbeaten since the defeat at Villa Park last month, whereas Chelsea, that win against Wolverhampton Wanderers on Monday night, that was their first Premier League win of 2025, their first win in 6 Premier League matches. Sanchez with the goal kick. Now Madueke is onto this on the halfway line, but the recovering Marmouche is able to get a touch on that, cleared by Gvardiol. And now Marmouche again on the halfway line, the Egyptian, the number 7 for Manchester City, is able just to play it infield, and Kovacic knocks it back into the back line. He's certainly mobile, Marmouche, isn't he? He's been in so many different areas of the field.
Yeah, he's a willing runner, wants to recover, he wants to help Josko Gvardiol. I think that is important. Just seeing a ball into Madueke, his touch is sensational. Took him into the space, and Cole Palmer had got right in the back of Akanji. He should have just played it. He waited, tried to go inside, and then that 2v1 that City created, then took the ball back, but it was a good counter.
As Manchester City just have the ball at the back in front of their own penalty area. Akanji now rolling it back across to goalkeeper Ederson. So yes, after this eventful afternoon that we've had, the lines are open for 606, as we heard from Chris Sutton there. 08085 909 693 as Ederson with a pass. Guardiola got a touch on that, but Chelsea have won it back. Madueke takes on, beats Gundogan down the outside. Now Caicedo is able to pass it back to James, and still lots and lots of spectators just coming back to our seats down in front of us. They're the expensive seats, aren't they? They're coming back after their lunches or dinners or suppers or whatever it was. As Cucurella finds Sancho now down the left-hand side on the far side. Little ball infield. No Neto in the team for Chelsea today, with Sancho coming in. Neto is among the substitutes. Here's Kovacic, the former Chelsea man, through the middle, looking for Haaland, but Colwill did well there, just used his body to make sure that Haaland had a long way round to go, and therefore goalkeeper Sanchez was able to make ground out of the penalty area and clear it away. And Manchester City will start again in the centre circle. Manchester City 2 points behind Chelsea in the Premier League table coming into this round of matches, as City go all the way back to goalkeeper Ederson.
Chelsea have just got to be careful. The press is good. Yes, they want to be high. It's just that sliding pass. Kovacic there on the shoulder, trying to get Haaland in. Need to be a little bit cute of Chelsea.
Oh, and that's Ederson passing the ball behind Husanov. Gave him no chance with that. Perhaps just trying to be too careful with Husanov, so passed it right along the goal line and out of play for a throw into Chelsea, but as a result has conceded a cheap throw-in that Cucurella is waiting to take, and he does that all the way back up the line. And Chelsea in the blue shirts with that sort of detail, that design on them, the blue shorts, white socks, these Chelsea shirts that they wear with the badge that twinkles under the floodlights. The badges on the shirt and the shorts. Manchester City, sky blue shirts, white shorts and the dark blue socks. Chelsea going back all the way to Sanchez at the other end. Certainly a contrast to the way that this half started with the first half when it was all action. This is very, very respectful. But here's a pass to the left-hand side. Sancho gets the ball down, plays it forward for Jackson. I'm not sure there was too much in that challenge there from Kusanov, and down goes Jackson. The referee doesn't give the free kick, and there's more encouraging applause, but Kovacic has lost it to Palmer. Palmer into the area on the left, ball across with a deflection, cleared away by Akanji, but only out to Fernandes. He tried to shoot. Good challenge. I think it was Foden who came in with a challenge on him just as Fernandes was looking to shoot, but that all came from Kovacic dwelling on the ball. But now Gundogan plays it through beyond Colwill. Haaland's onto this. Haaland still going. Left foot shot, saved by Sanchez. Deflection out into the penalty area where James was able to coolly control it and pass it away to comparative safety. First big chance of the second half, and Haaland with the shot from the angle that was saved by Sanchez. More from Michael Brown in a moment, but Palmer now bursting forward, uses Madueke to his right, on his left foot, curling it right across the box. That's taken down by Sancho. Sancho tees up Cucurella with a left foot shot that he lifts high up and over the crossbar, probably a yard and a half over the top and into all of those faces behind the goal.
Yeah, end to end again, some good balls in behind the Chelsea back line, and Colwill should have done better as Haaland gets away. I almost felt like he was going to come inside on that left foot. You're almost waiting for it. He does. And then the goalkeeper, good position down to that right-hand side. Good save. And then straight away, Chelsea attack, come down the right. Madueke, Palmer, etc. But then the overload, as Cucurella just puts it over the bar. Should have done a lot better, really. Should hit the target. It just shows you once it opens up, both sides with chances.
As Ederson clears it under pressure to Haaland on the halfway line, who goes down and lands on the top of Chalobah as the two of them battled for the ball. And I'm sure if you know anything about football, you wouldn't want Erling Haaland landing on top of you. And John Stones is being brought forward to the side of the pitch. And they're going to make a change. and it is Husanov who's going to make way, Michael.
Do you know what? I just popped down to the press room and I was asked about his first half performance, and I thought, you couldn't take him off because of a slow start. Did he recover? Yes. I think he found his feet. You just seen a strong challenge there in the corner, just starting to come to play, but it's allowed John Stones to get a good warm-up, a bit of weight, and what you don't do, the young kid's going to get a nice sort of applause from the supporters. You don't just do it at half-time. We have that loss. Look at these supporters now. You're going to get behind the youngster. I think that was a really, really smart move from Pep, not to actually just do it straight away. He probably felt he wanted to do it at half-time, but it's a learning curve. Did he recover? Yes, that was the positives. Nice challenge right at the end, showed that strength, determination. We're going to see a lot more of this young man.
Yes, this is the first Uzbekistan player to appear in the English top flight, and he gets an ovation like he scored a hat-trick. In actual fact, he gifted a goal to Chelsea, got booked, looked very shaky, but as Michael says, he's recovered into the match, and now Pep Guardiola, that I think you're right, I think that's good management, and he's got John Stones on the field.
You know, psychologically, at half-time, if he's took off, he's sat waiting in that team talk, John, and you pretty much know you've got every chance. John Stones sat there, you're probably thinking half a game is the most he can play, they want to get him on the pitch, but, you know, I think it's really, really good that he's come out, it's got another 5-10 minutes or so, but now about John Stones. We've seen him come back, we've seen him break down several times, and he's been such a key in that middle of the area as well, that can play right back. John, he can play that pivot, that central midfield role with no Rodri. He's got everything in the locker, John Stones. He just needs to be fit.
Well, when he came on in Paris on Wednesday night, actually just before they scored their third goal, PSG, that was only his second appearance since November, and now he's coming on again early in the second half. So Manchester City have made their change, but there continues to be concern for Chalobah, because all of the while Chalobah has received treatment, and this is after Haaland fell on him in the centre circle, and he's on his feet, but
his foot come across him and caught him on the side of the head, I think. You know, that was that sort of contact Phil Foden was saying, but his head was low. There wasn't really sort of any intent from Haaland, but he did catch him.
So they've gone through the process, and here's one for Jackson to chase, but John Stones gets there first, just passes it back to Ederson. Jackson continues to bear down on the Manchester City goalkeeper. Chalobah still off the field on the far side. Two of the Chelsea staff are over there with them with their black bags. The ball's out of play, and I think Chalobah is going to come back onto the field very shortly. 10 minutes gone in the second half. This is 5 Live from the BBC. This is the Premier League, the 5:30 kickoff. This is where to hear commentary on that. Although, actually, this time next week, you'll be listening to Ireland-England in the Six Nations on 5 Live. It begins Friday night. France against Wales, the first match. That's on 5 Live, 8:15. And then all manner of commentaries across 5 Live and Sports Extra during the course of the Six Nations Championship. And added to that, the Rugby Union Weekly becomes daily on Monday throughout the course of the Six Nations, as Ederson clears the ball away to the halfway line. And on the Rugby Union front, it is now Exeter 5, Saracens 8, remains the score. In the Premiership, also in the United Rugby Championship, Leinster 36, Saltmers 7, and Cardiff 22, Sharks 28, all latest scores. 1-1 here, Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. Madueke for Chelsea early on. Gvardiol with the equaliser, his 5th goal of the season for Manchester City. He's turned himself into a useful scorer of goals, even if sometimes at the back, Michael, he has his moments, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, but no, he contributes in different ways, still learning the Pep way.
There's Chelsea played up towards Akanji, who's underneath that, heads it back for Gundogan, who's beaten in the air by Reece James, and then another one forward aerially for Marmoush, who I don't think can keep it in. He can't against James, and it's out of play for a throw into Chelsea halfway inside their own territory. Thoughts on Marmoush so far, for anyone who's just switched on? The news on Manchester City's big new signing as Kovacic tries to battle his way through, but he can't get the better of Reece James, his former teammate. It actually deflects in field for Chalobah, now back on the field. Colwell carefully passes it forward to Sancho. That's a nice ball in field by Sancho for Fernandes. Fernandez then helps it forward to Jackson. Jackson slips as he shoots, and as a result, it's a routine save for Ederson, almost like a back pass.
Yeah, it was. Once you lost your footing, there was no pace and power. Good challenge there. Is it late? Here he is. Mamouche, you asked me about him.
He goes between Caicedo and James, and the referee has already warned Caicedo. Remember, in the first half, he gave him a lengthy warning, and this one, for this challenge, halfway line, yellow card, Caicedo.
Yeah, positive, drives inside, wants to set the tone, he wants to use that determination, that pace and power. He asked me about what he's going to bring. I think we've seen different attributes. Wants to come inside, recovery runs, good energy. He's gone and joined the central area at times wherever he possibly can, but I know for the Egyptian supporters around the world, I was here when Mido came, Zaki came to Wigan as well. Causes a big stir.
Here's Akanji passing the ball through to the edge of the penalty area, but that's cut out by James. Yes, it'll be big news, won't it, in Egypt. Long one forward. This is for Sancho to chase Mateus Nunes, trying to get back, and then eventually the offside flag comes. Shoots against the post in any case, but it's a free kick to Manchester City. Thought that might come under the category of delaying the restart from Sancho to shoot, even though he knew he'd been flagged offside. Substitutes are warming up, and Nkunku's going to come on for Chelsea next time we get a stoppage in play. Yes, he's just taking off his tracksuit top as Chelsea concede a free kick on the far side, of foul on Bernardo Silva. Michael Brown.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez, just enough for the referee to be convinced that he's fouled Bernardo Silva. He just waits. Bernardo Silva doesn't cut inside, and then the foul comes. But now it's a good position. Wide free kick. Can he fizz it right across? Haaland needs a couple of crosses. He needs something to go at. I think we can see down to our left-hand side, John, Kevin De Bruyne will be the one who can change things. You're looking at lots of activity on the Chelsea bench.
Free kick though. De Bruyne's not on the field yet, so Marmouche is going to take this. Right-footed he does, far too close to the goalkeeper. Sanchez is able to take the catch untroubled, and then rather awkwardly and badly gives it out to Bernardo Silva, who couldn't find Phil Foden. Passed it straight to Sancho, and then a ball that I'm not sure Jackson's going to chase or able to catch, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in, and it's Jackson who's coming off, Michael. Nkunku coming on for Jackson. There's been a bit of talk this month that Nkunku might move on, even though he's actually got 13 goals this season for Chelsea. Only Palmer has scored more, but Jackson, that's another appearance. And has he seen the number yet?
Oh, he's off on that far side. Yeah, he's just drifted off. Can you see him just behind Nunes?
I would say he doesn't look best pleased. Well, that's not the most positive body language I've ever seen.
It's not, but what I mean, I'm not really fazed by that. He's on the side of the pitch where he's disappointed. He just goes, okay, that's the way I go. We can't run all the way over this side, and the change happens. But I mean, who isn't linked in and out of Chelsea at this moment in time? That's always the difficulty.
So Nkunku is on, and Nicholas Jackson, that's now 7 appearances without a goal. Lovely from Gvardiol for Manchester City, away from Madueke. The weaving run continues, and then with his right foot finds the pass out to Mateus Nunes on the right-hand side for Manchester City. Comes back in field towards Foden, and then back to Kovacic, and then Manchester City forcing Chelsea back. Mateus Nunes beats Cucurella into the area, stabs it across, but there's no one there. Groans from the home supporters. Caldwell was able to clear it away downfield. Manchester City 1, Chelsea 1. More Premier League commentaries to come tomorrow. Tottenham-Chelsea at Tottenham-Leicester at 2 o'clock on 5 Live. Crystal Palace-Brentford is on Sports Extra, and right now on Sports Extra, the Exeter-Saracens match. Here's Mateus Nunes into the box on the right-hand side. He goes up against Cucurella, tries to get the crossover. It's blocked behind by the left back, and it's a corner to Manchester City, which is, believe it or not, only the 2nd corner of the match.
Cucurella does well, doesn't he? Gets into good areas, good position, watches the line as Nunes attacks him towards the byline. First port of call is make sure that ball doesn't get past you across the face. A bit of push and shoving going on in the area. John Stones in and around it.
Foden with the corner, takes it back to the point, the corner of the penalty area, to Gundogan, back to Foden on the right. Foden's ball across, deflected and then hooked away, overhead kick away by Madueke. And Manchester City take up possession again as they play from right to left. As we look here, chill in the air. I came through snow today on the way. Snow shower in Barrel Ford. Snow on the ground. Here's Mateus Nunes, turns, carries the ball down the left, and Gvardiol will return it back towards Akanji near the halfway line. Mateus Nunes as well. Also commentary tomorrow, Aston Villa West Ham from 4:30. It'll be at Villa Park tomorrow as City go with Bernardo Silva all the way back to goalkeeper Ederson at the other end. Ederson just has a look up, gives it back to Bernardo Silva. John Stones now. City keeping possession inside their own half. And Kovacic to Akanji. Gundogan has now dropped back in there as well. Three of the midfielders, Gundogan, Kovacic and Bernardo Silva, are all together with the central defenders right over towards the flanks, as Mateus Nunes now turns the full 360 degrees and then still in possession of the ball. Look at the runs there from the halfway line.
I think that's the next one. He doesn't need Ilkay Gundogan there now. Do you know, because the presence of Jackson's different. I think that he won't stay too long with having three behind it.
Gundogan's going to try the long pass. This is for Haaland. Colwell, who's stuck to Haaland and has done pretty well against him, the England international. So far in the match, Haaland's just got away once, and the shot was saved by Sanchez early in the second half. Now here's Marmoush again. Marmoush, who is blocked by James, and then there's a flick by Madueke. Still Chelsea trying to get it away from their right back position, and James wins the free kick off Marmoush. I don't see anything in terms of physically that would suggest Marmoush can't play the whole of this match. You know, he was right in the thick of the action with Eintracht Frankfurt, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Whether we could see difference in styles or areas of the pitch, I think it's a willing runner, but not that jinky 1v1 type player. So I think I still look, and I think if Pep wants to win it, I think there's other areas he can certainly explore, whether he stays on or whether he doesn't. But when you look at, when you have Kevin De Bruyne there, I just think he's one of those, at some point, 75, you go, well, he's got to get on the pitch.
Yeah, I was talking to a German colleague this week who said everyone there has been absolutely wowed by him in the Bundesliga this season. Here is Gundogan playing it in field, so he was going to get a move, it would appear, sooner or later, as Chelsea go back to Sanchez.
I think the point is with it, I think several clubs over in this country looked and thought about it, weren't 100% sure because of the amount of time that he's done it. And that's people in and around Manchester City in the Premier League.
Yeah, and he came from the Egyptian second division originally with Wadi Degla before he got his move to Germany. I was reading this week on the BBC Sport website, it was Ryan Giggs who spotted him at a tournament in Dubai, mentioned his name, so that's how he got his move to Germany. And not unlike Mohamed Salah, you know, a few moves, loan moves, and now he's got the big move. So Manchester City in possession, still 1-1 in the match. Gundogan just going back towards the edge of the penalty area and then all the way back to Ederson. And then the long ball, this is again Haaland against Colwell. James got a touch on that. Haaland's brought it out to the left and he gives it to Marmoush, and Marmoush shoots wide of the top corner from the edge of the D, and he turns away the Egyptian and thinks that was close, and it was.
Well, that was the chance. I thought there's the 1v1 that they wanted. Ederson into Haaland, you know when he gets into that area, but he almost turns the wrong way, plays it inside very, very quickly. It opens up to Marmoush and he just sort of strikes it rather than curls it, and late it has that swerve just away from that far post. A bit more quality, hits it, you know, strong enough, but the quality, just that bit of slice.
Very close, but not close enough, and it remains 1-1. He's got a reputation, or he's had a reputation in Germany for scoring match-winning goals. To say only Harry Kane scored more in the Bundesliga this season. He scored another one today, Harry Kane, I noticed. They won at Freiburg, Bayern Munich. Now Haaland again, it's a long pass. Chalobah's struggling. Oh, Sanchez has come a long way. Haaland over him and in! Oh, the goalkeeper Gallagher looks at Sanchez, but Haaland celebrates. Give Haaland a chance like that, he's not going to turn it down. Very good finish, but it was a bit of a gift. And Manchester City now lead Chelsea by 2-1.
Well, you leave him 1v1. You've got Ederson's supply line. They've been warned several times. I did say, don't go so high, don't leave him 1v1. And then when it's a battle, goalkeeper gets sucked in, thinks he can come as he gets away, but Haaland does so well. He checks back inside. And from that point of view, once he opens up onto his left foot, it's a great finish. He just chips it right over the top. And almost like Cantona-like, where he's done it and he's scored, he just stands there and walks off very, very cool and composed. He knows it's a great finish. He gets those positions, and City finally take the lead after a very, very slow start to the game.
Yeah, Robert Sanchez, he found himself in no man's land. And the position that he was in, Haaland was over near the corner of the penalty area, and there as well, Haaland managed to get himself up against Chalobah instead of Colwill. Invariably, it's been Colwill who's dealt with him pretty well, but he got away from Chalobah, goalkeeper came out, and really, it was just an invitation for Haaland to lift it over, and as long as he got it on target, it would have been in the back of the net.
Yeah, but I understand going 1-for-1, but they've had a warning. Give him 5 yards.
Sanchez now clears it out, and then Gvardiol was onto this, and fiery deflection puts it out, and Pep Guardiola on the touchline is waving his arms around, I think suggesting that the Etihad crowd give it a bit of noise.
Yeah, there was no suggesting. It was, come on, get behind it, give it more. But now they can really put Chelsea under pressure out of a real error from the goalkeeper. I still think there's a lot of work to do. I think you do your homework, you stick to your tactics at times, breakthroughs do happen.
As the ball just rolls over the white line, throw into Chelsea level with the edge of their own box. So Chelsea facing another defeat here. Chelsea, who are in danger of dropping below Manchester City in the Premier League table with this scoreline. The crowd have responded to Pep Guardiola. That goal from Haaland, number 24 for Manchester City this season. And after Salah scored for Liverpool today, so Salah has got 19 in the Premier League this season, and Haaland now 18. And the 2 goals from Isak means that he's on 17 in the Premier League. As Colwill in his own box is able to chip it away over to the far side. Cucurella takes it on. Malo Gusto is going to come on for Chelsea next. And here's Chalobah, who seems to be okay, although it was Chalobah who took that knock, and it was Chalobah who was beaten by Haaland when he was one-on-one in the build-up to the second goal, and Pedro Neto as well. So Pedro Neto and Gusto. Enzo Maresca is going to bring those 2 on next time he gets a chance. 20 minutes to play here at the Etihad Stadium, and Madueke running at Gvardiol into the penalty area, tried to hook it across. They were shoulder to shoulder, they bounced off one another, and he was able to win the corner, Madueke, even though he was rebounding over the dead ball line at the time. He scooped it into Gvardiol, and it's a Chelsea corner, their first of the match.
Yeah, now how can they react? What can they do? City zonal, one blocker, and Bernardo Silva trying to stop any blue shirt, get momentum. Kovacic now stepped into that area as well, and Mamouche finally joining. They've got to set up quicker, City.
So James to take the corner for Chelsea. Reece James, deep delivery to the back post, which is headed down and away. John Stones was underneath it and was able to clear it for Manchester City. Back to James. Madueke might well have been in an offside position, crosses anyway, and it's caught by Ederson. There's no flag, and even though the Manchester City defenders are arms in the air all over the place, but it's been safely dealt with. So 2-1 to Manchester City. Lines open for 606 08 085 909 693. Kevin De Bruyne is going to come on for Manchester City as well, so we're going to have a number of substitutions next time the ball goes out, but it is still in play. Yes, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting for your calls to the UK's most popular football phone in, 085 909 693. And here come the change. For Chelsea, first of all, Reece James is going to be replaced by Malo Gusto and Jadon Sancho by Pedro Neto, so straight swaps.
Yeah, you understand that, you get it, but Reece James, it's great to see him back playing games, getting minutes, super talent. He's spent a long time in recovery tables, and wish him well because he's someone I love to watch play. But
yeah, only his 8th appearance this season for Chelsea, and it's Marmoush. He won't play the full match. He's coming off. With just under 20 minutes to play, but they're on their feet. The Manchester City supporters. He did have the ball in the net in the first half. He was caught offside repeatedly, including that time. Went very close with his shot. He's not scored on his debut, but there are high fives all round for Omar Marmoush on the Manchester City's substitutes bench, and Kevin De Bruyne replaces him. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah.
Marks out of 10?
No, I think it was a positive debut. I think he had to play in a role that's sometimes difficult to understand after a slow start, and Pep Guardiola doesn't always give those forward players that freedom that you would like, and you have to understand when and where you can go on the pitch. But I think overall he showed good energy, some good touches. Just ran offside a little bit, didn't he, early on with that eagerness, but you know, I think a real positive start.
Yep. So Kevin De Bruyne is on. Manchester City 2, Chelsea 1. Phil Foden was in a Chelsea sandwich on the halfway line, no free kick. Palmer has actually been very quiet in the match. Should have scored in the first half if he'd been more selfish, but generally there's feels like he's not really seen much of the ball.
He's just cruising around, he's just waiting for that chance. That's all he is, Cole Palmer, but you've got to get him on it, get him turned round, because he will produce something.
Yeah, Michael Brown felt he was too cool in the first half when he was through seemingly one-on-one.
I think his first touch should have been a cross with his left foot, then it opens up the goal, but he's thinking, all right, it's not. I just whiz it across, he sees it, he was just a little bit too pacey, wasn't it, the pass for that simple tap-in. But now De Bruyne on the pitch, you know something will happen, he always creates. And it's going to be a really sort of open ending, because Chelsea are just going to start going for it, will leave those gaps for City.
So 2-1 to Manchester City. At that time when Palmer was through, Chelsea were winning 1-0 through the early goal from Madueke, but Gvardiol late in the first half, and now Erling Haaland, who is on one of those runs, 6 goals in his last 6 appearances for the big Norwegian, and that now takes him, Michael, close to another milestone, of course. He's now on 249 club career goals for his various clubs, Erling Haaland, Brunner, Mulder, Salzburg, Dortmund and Manchester City.
It's not bad, is it? The return has been sensational, the growth of his career. Obviously a very, very lucrative contract with many years. That tells you the professionalism that everybody thinks he's got in the football club, and you do feel like those goal records are just going to keep getting broken.
Yeah, the growth of his career, the growth of him as well. Do you think he was a big baby? Probably was, wasn't he? As Stones hits a long pass cross field. Gvardiol heads it back to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne now with the outside of his boot to Foden. And back to Kevin De Bruyne. I think it's unfortunate for City with Jeremy Doku's injury.
Why don't you check your notes and see what weight he was when he was born?
When he was born. Do you know what? I haven't got that. That's my mistake. Apologies, everyone. Baby weight. Here's De Bruyne.
TBC.
Blank. Straight line. Here's De Bruyne. Back to Mateus Nunes, but Cucurella kept his feet well, actually, the Chelsea left-back, and was able just to poke a little toe in there, clear it away. And Chelsea start again from the back. But they're facing a second defeat to Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, with this scoreline, is doing a double over his old assistant, Enzo Maresca. And Manchester City with the ball on the halfway line. John Stones rolls it across here to Akanji. Into the last 15 minutes we go. 08, 085 909 693. I know that Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will want to hear from you, want to hear about that sending off, that decision at Molineux, I'm sure, from Arsenal supporters all on the way home. When I was listening to Ian Dennis earlier with the commentary describing the scenes of Arsenal's celebrations, you know, that was a big win for them, wasn't it, in the circumstances. Wolves had a man sent off as well. As the ball's played forward for Manchester City, Haaland's chasing this, but Chalobah will get there comfortably and is able to play it back to Robert Sanchez. So it is now Exeter 24, Saracens 15 in the Premiership in the Sports Extra commentary match, and full time in the United Rugby Championship, Leinster 36, Stormers 12, and Cardiff 22, Sharks 42. Foul on Enzo Fernandez in the middle of the field, and that is a yellow card for, was it Bernardo Silva?
Yeah.
Who caught him? It was yellow card for Bernardo Silva.
He dives in, tries to get any sort of thing, but Fernandez does so well. Great feet, drags it back, then drives into a position. It's just on the back of his foot. Wasn't really too bad, but once you're in an advanced position, breaking away. And I mean, this is interesting now, isn't it? The latest stages of games, this is where City have struggled. When it's been tight in the games, we've seen Manchester United here, we've seen in the week in the Champions League.
Yep.
How do they do this? What is different? Feyenoord here was incredible ending when they were so comfortable. I think they learnt from that regards to seeing it out and doing the right things, but collectively, I don't know, the concentration levels, there's something in it that they don't have the confidence to do it.
Be all right. Manchester derby, remember?
Yeah.
Coming into the last 10 minutes.
There was one mistake from Nunes,
yeah,
and that changed it very quickly.
Yeah.
So it was different to others where there's been a domination or something coming for a period of time. That was just a switch that changed. What happens here? Did Chelsea go, right, OK, we know they can do it. That'll be the message from the bench. The players are saying, come on, keep probing, keep coming, take more risks. And I think this is the time now they've got to start to do it.
Yeah. 2-1 to Manchester City. But with City right now, as Michael Brown's been saying, we are in this position where nothing is certain, nothing's guaranteed. Chelsea with the